Got your SD card in there?
I do.
All right. Just making sure.
It won't even record without it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true. Welcome to episode 6 of OK Riders Podcast.
Yeah, and the reason we say episode 6 is because we did episode 5 and it was badass. We had Taylor Light from Skagit Valley Polaris here, and we got to hear all of his adventures and with Chris Durant and all these things that he's done, and it was really good. I mean, he really,
he killed it.
Yeah,
there's a lot of things that Taylor's done, and he's got a really interesting life, and it'd be cool for everybody to hear. But what happened?
Well, I think what happened is normally I push the record button, and in this case, you pushed the record button. And then I messed it up because I went ahead and pushed it again, which canceled out what you did.
We messed it up. Collectively, we screwed up.
So, long story short, we don't have any evidence of that podcast. So that was.
I think we should really pay attention to the blinking light on the camera.
I thought the light was blinking.
You know, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Remember now. It's been obviously 2 weeks, so.
Yeah.
Then we missed last week.
So yeah, it's been a couple of weeks. We had Christmas and New Year's, so we got a lot to talk about. So right around Christmas, well, right before Christmas, me and you went riding. Where did we go?
Dang it, I forgot again.
We went to Glacier.
We went to Glacier. Yeah, went to Glacier. Yeah.
Oh, and here's the thing. So did like 9 million other people, and it's supposed to be like a secret spot. Yeah, so I think everybody, I don't know, got a telepathic message to go there that day.
They brought their cats too. Like everybody brought, their cats and dogs, and yeah, I mean, it was just chaos. Lots of people.
It was a good time. I mean,
it was a good time though.
I mean, for, now this is pre-blizzard, right? And so
that was when the snow was still thin.
There was 4 inches of new snow, and we thought that we just hit the gold mine, and it was like 4 feet. But I
mean, it was pretty decent though for the season being somewhat early season conditions the whole time. Yeah. Like that wasn't bad. It could have been worse. Could have hit a lot of rocks and trees. But,
so we went down that one little valley there, down on that creek bottom, and then coming back out of there, and I was on my wife's sled because my sled wasn't fixed at that point. It is now. But I was coming back out of there, and oh man, I was wide open, and it's the first time I've ever had that sled like I'm like this, the skis are so high in the air trying to get out of there, and I just kept her pinned, and I'm doing like 6 miles an hour the whole time, but made it out. Yep. Did you guys had a couple runs at it?
I had a couple of runs at it. That was my first time even getting to like actually open up the chaos and to see what it's about and learn to ride it. And I screwed up a couple times going up there, and it's just learning. Getting used to the sled.
Well, and that sled too, yeah.
It lives up to its name. It's a chaos. It's very chaotic to ride. It can be if you're not learning how to control it.
Right.
And there is a way to control it. I'm starting to figure it out. So we just got to get used to it, man.
Yeah, so. I seen Chris Ward up there. I seen Kyle Ingberg with the Noob Crew, and Louis Bruno.
Yep, Louis Bruno.
I seen, just Chris Hill. I seen so many people up there.
Saw Dan. We saw Mike.
Yeah, Dan and Mikey
Bouchon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mikey B. So many people. That was a good time. So we did that, and then a couple days later, you and Taylor found a new secret spot.
Yep, we found a new secret spot that was not so secret to a couple other guys apparently, but respectfully, secret spot.
It's a place that I've always wanted to go, and in my 20 whatever years I've been riding, I've never been to. And so we're not gonna say where it's at or anything, but it was. Sounds like, I edited the video. It
was a good spot. You saw a couple clips from it. Great spot.
Yeah.
but it needed a lot more snow.
Right.
To be
well, everywhere still needs more snow.
Everywhere needs more snow. Not so much anymore.
Well, no, still needs more snow.
Still needs more snow, but you know, it's well on its way finally. And that spot was really bad though, because it's like that hill that drops down into the zone. Pretty much the only zone that's there. It is a small spot, but it's gangster. I mean, just wait till we get some videos on that, possibly.
So
we'll get there.
And then let's see. I'm looking at the board there. Where was the next spot? Oh, the 24-hour Hearts Pass ride.
Yeah,
that was next, right?
Yeah. So after the Secret Spot ride, we had Taylor on the podcast. Missed that. Screwed that up. That was really cool. There's something else I was gonna say about that. Completely forgot. It is what it is. 24-hour Hearts Pass ride. That was that the weekend after?
Well, yeah, because it was New Year's.
Yeah, because
so it was New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
So New Year's Eve was on a Sunday.
Yes.
And
we rode Sunday.
Right.
Yeah, because we left Saturday night, Sunday morning.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we left Sunday. So it was me, Norman, and Brandon, and we took Brandon's got a 2-place trailer. Put my sled on the sled deck. Put those 2 sleds on the trailer. Worked out great. And then we picked him up at 1:30, I don't think we left his house until 2. He lives in Mount Vernon. And then we drove over there. It was fine, except for super foggy.
Super foggy and a bit icy once we crossed.
Oh, there was some icy spots where it was like sliding around.
Yeah, it was a little sketchy. A little sketchy of a drive, but we made it. We got to the parking lot we stopped to get coffee at like 7.
Well, the Mazama store opens at 7. They have really good coffee.
We rolled in like 2 minutes before 7.
6:58 we rolled in and Mazama was perfect.
Yeah, perfect timing. Grabbed a sandwich. By the way, amazing sandwich. Heavily recommend stopping at the Mazama store. No, they actually use real sausage and real eggs. Yeah. That was amazing, man.
I think they even make their own bread.
I think so. It's hard to tell with bread sometimes. Yeah. But that was good. Obviously the coffee was good and hospitality was great. So we got to the parking lot. We got unloaded about 8:30.
Yeah, probably 8. I mean, we were the first ones there. I mean, there was a camper there that had spent the night, but we were the first ones there.
Yeah, they were chilling in the camper still when we left.
Yeah. And then, so we get going, and you got to park, like, at that particular time, you had to park at the Yellow Jacket Snow Park, which is, like, about, I don't know, quarter mile away from the trail. So we had to ride on pretty much wet, dry pavement for a quarter mile. And then we got to the trail.
That was less than ideal.
And the trail was icy for the first 2 miles. I had to stop like 5 times. I was overheating. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of it just had to do with I had tightened up my track so much. I think I over-tightened it. In fact, I know I did because there's like rubber pieces coming off of the track.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's not good.
So I over-tightened it. I think it might have loosened up a little bit by now, but it was way too loose before. And I got tired of like cranking every 5 times and then checking, and I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to crank this thing down. So I tightened it.
You sent it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Well, Brandon and I were overheating too. Not as bad as you were, but I was starting to overheat pretty bad there towards the end of that.
And then the trail was literally 5 to 6 foot whoops the whole 9 miles. Like, I don't think that trail has been groomed or ever gets groomed, I guess, because of the Dead Man's Pass. I'm guessing they don't want to go by, or
I don't
know what the deal is, or maybe that's why nobody goes there.
I don't know if I'd want to run a groomer past that either.
Yeah, well, because they're so wide.
Yeah, they're wide.
It might hang over the cliff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like that would be a problem because the tracks are really wide on them, but I feel like what would be a problem is those rocks. If it gets icy on the rocks and you can't...
Well, and it always slides off right there. So you haven't been there when there's lots of snow, but when there's lots of snow, where those rocks slid off, the snow falls off the cliff right there. Yeah. And it piles up right there. And so I've been there before where you have to spend like an hour digging out with a shovel to get past that spot.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. So it was just whooped out, like ultra garbage to get in and out of.
But we got about 3/4 of the way up the trail, and it's like Bluebird, and you could see off in the distance where we were headed that it was just like pure white trees.
Oh yeah.
From the night before. And the stoke level was unreal because we haven't really seen good snow since we were there on the 16th of November.
Dude, and even that wasn't nearly as good as this was.
Yeah.
And, man, and I'm sitting there, I'm over there tearing off, going up the hills, and Ryan's like, come on, man, like, let's just get up there. Like, it'll be just fine up there. It'll probably be better. And he was right. Yeah. But, man, I just couldn't help it.
Like, I know. I just didn't want to break something where there's less snow when we have good snow to go tear up. I'd rather go... so we went and did that, and man, what a great day. It was like probably 6 inches of fresh on top of a foot of snow that was penetratable.
Yeah, you could ride it, and then
so,
there was a good base.
And on top of that, there was probably, 3 feet of a base or whatever, so there's probably like 5 feet or 4 feet all together, but...
it's not like an epic day, but
I mean, if you were like hammer down going up a hill, I mean, your track would go down 1.5 feet, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, it was a great day, and I mean, shoot, we went down into the woods. You led us down into the woods and said, let's see where this goes. How'd that go?
Gosh, dude, that just keeps going and going and going and going.
Just think of that with more snow, though.
Oh, I know. If we had more snow, I would have gone all the way. I'm not going to lie.
But we got out of, like, there was not quite as much snow down there, and the logs were starting to show, and it was one of those deals where you get off your sled and you step next to a log, and it's, like, up to your armpit.
Yeah, there was just,
like, you could easily
it wasn't
break a leg.
filled in under the logs, and the base wasn't hard enough.
Nobody had been there.
Yeah, no one had been down in there.
Yeah.
And by this point, Ryan was a little pooped, and so he's stepping off into the log wells, and I mean, you can see that on the video, 2 videos before this one. There's a couple spots in there where he's stuck. and
then I started heading up the hill. Like, finally get turned around. We're heading back up, and I'm like going pretty quick because I don't want to get stuck again.
Yeah.
And I'm just moseying right along, and then I see this log coming down. There was this big, huge creek bottom that was like 30 foot deep, an open creek.
Yeah.
It was straight down on both sides, and I was doing like 30 miles an hour, and I slammed on the brakes and skidded like 15 feet.
His ski was hanging off the edge about a foot and a half. And when I got, because I saw you stop, and I was like, why'd he stop? Like, that's a good line.
Yeah.
So I pull up the line, and you can hear me in the video. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, right. Like it was.
Yeah, we're not jumping that one.
I mean, another nanosecond, and I would have bailed.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I wasn't gonna die that day.
No, but you could have got pretty hurt on that one.
Yeah, so it's just one of those deals where here's another safety deal where, like, if you, let's say, weren't watching.
Hold on a second. Let's back up a little here, because it started to get kind of flat light.
Right.
By that time, too, because, the storm was starting to roll in a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just couldn't see it.
Yeah.
You have to be careful.
It's a combination of I couldn't see it, I didn't know it was there, and I was going a little too fast. But what I was going to say is, like, here's another safety thing that, like, someday it'd be nice to have some sort of a snowmobile safety foundation or whatever, because, for education, I guess, because I'm going along. Now, let's say you weren't watching me, or weren't following me on my line. I was the last one, or whatever the case is, and I didn't stop quick enough, and I go into that thing, and my sled comes down on top of me. I mean, good chance I ain't going to make it.
You're dead.
Good chance.
I mean, that's why our group in particular rides like we do. We always have an eye on each other, and if someone else is clearly more tired than you are, I'm gonna let them go first.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And that's why I was hanging back. Like normally
You're the one tired.
I'm just like either I'm normally the one tired, or I'm the one that's just taking off.
Yeah.
Because I like to ride, and everybody knows when I'm getting tired of sitting around, right? Because I'm just like, let's go.
Well, one thing I've noticed with your new sled is, and I think every week you're getting better and better with it, is that it used to be like not even that long ago where, like, if we're both at a cross point or whatever, and we're both started up ready to go somewhere, you'd always wait for me to go. And now you give me like a nanosecond, like, nah, I'm gone.
Yeah. No,
I'll take that line.
Well, well, this sled's so much more confidence inspiring, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it really, and I didn't know what that phrase meant until I got this thing, because it's like, confidence inspiring machines are a real thing. Like you can manufacture confidence, and I definitely did a couple times on the Arctic Cat, but it's hard to keep that momentum going with that confidence if the machine is just a pain to use. And not that the Arctic Cat was 100% a pain to use. I mean, you just have to ride them for a long time, get used to their quirks, but as with anything. Yeah. But this machine is just like, you can hop on it and it's like, it actually feels natural to ride. Yeah. It's just a totally different machine.
It's a point and shoot.
Yeah, and every sled is different, and that's the one reason I know everybody's, I still give the Catalyst a little shit because it is an Arctic Cat, but I still kind of want to try one.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. We do have more stuff on that. But yeah, no, the Matrix is a good chassis, and everybody said it. Everybody knows that somewhat. But if you haven't tried one, you should try one. Yeah. I mean, same with the Gen 5
or Arctic Cat. If you want us to try one, okay, like we'll absolutely do that, and we'll give you a fair and honest review. Yep. So, and then to finish that day up, we came back down the hill, and like, I think 5 miles an hour was kind of the 5 to 6 was kind of what you could handle, and then like if you really wanted to tucker yourself out, you could do 8 or 9.
Yeah, I was seeing 10 a couple times. We were really pushing.
I mean, it was just the worst trail coming back. So then we get back, and dude, it was dark. We got on the trailer. It was dark. It was dark. We were the last ones. We were the first ones there, the last ones to leave. And it just, that's a great day when you're the first ones there and the last ones to leave. So and then
that trail didn't stop me from enjoying that day. That's for sure.
So then we decided, you know what? We earned a good meal, so we went to Three Finger Jack's in Winthrop, and that was a good meal. Yeah, it was a good square meal. And then we saw later that they advertised in the Snowflyer magazines. We thought, well, that's so cool that we supported a restaurant that supports snowmobiling. So
and it's funny because they're in a town that snowmobiling is not like the hugest thing there in the winter. Right. It's more like snowshoeing and like backcountry skiing and snowboarding, and like there's a ski bum shop in Methau or whatever that is, Mazama. My bad. Mazama. Yeah. And I thought that was interesting. I was like, dang, I didn't even know these guys supported snowmobiling, but they do. Yeah. And, that was cool. That was cool.
So then we were gonna ride the next day, but because of that trail and because we all had to work the next day after that, we're like, you know what? Let's just drive home.
Yeah, we chickened out a little bit, but there's nothing wrong. I mean, dude, we were wore out from that trip. Oh. That was brutal.
Well, we didn't get any sleep. We didn't go to bed. I mean, I went to bed for 10 minutes and didn't sleep.
Yeah, so basically, rewind to Saturday night. I load up the sled on and big old colossal cluster, of trailers and sleds and sled decks and who knows what. Anyway, I dropped off the sled trailer here at 8:30. Yeah. And then I went and had dinner with my fiance, and then I kind of got drunk, and then I was like, oh no, I gotta be up at 1 a.m. I gotta be at Ryan's at 1 a.m. and it's like 10 o'clock. Yeah. And I'm like, what do I do now? Well, I ended up taking a power nap.
Yeah, I didn't even do that. I just had a bunch of stuff to get ready, and
and that was a dangerous game to play. I was like, man, I don't know about this, but
the only time I got tired was on the way back, maybe coming back down the pass. I was hallucinating a little bit. I was looking at I pulled over there and took a pee, and I kept looking at telephone poles that looked like giant mountains.
He's lying. He was on mushrooms. Well,
we got back safely.
We were all awake for 36 hours at that point. I mean, that's a long day for a lot of people. And, I can pull it off, but
and I can too. I've done a lot. It's not a. I mean, do I want to do it every time? No.
No, God, no.
We did it that time, so it worked out. It was worth it. We all agreed that it was worth it to do that trip.
Oh yeah.
So now let's get on to last week, and we finally got
some snow.
And I mean the weather. I mean, so like they got like, I don't know, 8 inches like Thursday night, and then 14 on Friday night. So it was like basically about 22 inches, I think, for our ride on Saturday.
Yeah.
We went to Anderson, and we said...
It was right at the hood.
Yeah, and we were like, okay, we're not going to be... There's no parking at Anderson, right?
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, we're going to get there early. So we met at 5:45 a.m. It doesn't get light till 7:30 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
And we got up there, and it was pitch black when we unloaded and got up the trail. I mean, it was still pitch black. By the time we got to the warming hut at the end of the trail, it was... like kind of light.
It was starting to get light finally. You know, and I lost my gauge cluster again. Thanks, Polaris. Lost my gauge cluster again on the trail up. So you know.
And the trail up, I mean, it was, you know, we're busting trail, and
that was awesome. When I went by you on the trail, man, I was like, thank you for letting me by, because this is great. Just pow up over the hood and getting blown in the face. It was amazing.
It was a good time. There was one guy on an orange Arctic Cat that got stuck like probably 5 or 6 times on the trail. That was funny. That was super funny. We're not going to call him out or anything like who it was.
Not on that.
But that was funny. And then so I led the way from there, and man, that was a blast. That was like going up the next little spot. I ran that whole line, and I didn't let off very much. And it was awesome. And then a bunch of people got stuck on that line, and
I ended up behind Levi. You know, and at that point it was just chaos trying to get up there. I mean, I kind of wish I'd taken second place there. Or tried breaking trail. That would have been even more funny, because I would have got stuck for sure.
Well, because that last draw, with the turbo, I got the turbo fixed. With the turbo, I was like wide open, going probably 6 miles an hour for like a minute.
It looked slow in your video. It looked slow in your video. You were pushing it. And I mean, my sled, man, like when we finally broke into that first play area, I was like, damn. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, I'm leaving you guys in the woods there. Like, I got to take off. Like, this is too good to not tear up. And so the hill that we went up last time, that I got a couple videos on for YouTube, I tried going up that again. And that first part where I went between the trees, I barely made it up that. And I was like, oh shit. Like, it's actually deep today. Like, hell here we go. Yeah, so that was fun.
Yeah.
Still didn't know how much gas I had.
Well, and I brought my son with me riding my wife's sled, and he's got a lot of riding experience from the time of like 4 years old to 6 years old, but not a lot as an adult. So he's gone with me like once a year for the last like 4 years. So it really, but he did really good. He got a lot better and started to figure it out, but I could just tell he was getting beaten. He's in good shape too. But I could just tell he was getting beat, and I'm like, man, you just gotta like use your throttle and don't beat yourself up.
He was though. Like I followed him after the creek where Levi got stuck in the creek. Yeah. And he was using the throttle, and I was watching him like, oh, he's doing pretty good. Like, all right. And then he did get stuck at one point. And, and a couple other guys showed up. I can't remember their names. Forgive me. But
the guys on the Arctic Cats?
No, they were on. One was on a boost, and one was on a 9R. Oh, okay. And we helped all of them get unstuck, and we tried tractoring it out. It wouldn't work, and I was like, Alden, pin it, and because I felt it start moving, and he pinned it, and it just came right out. Oh, nice. I was like, good job. Yeah. So Alden's figuring it out. He's good.
He's getting there. If I could just get him out a couple more weekends in a row, I think by like the 4th weekend. He'd be a lot better.
He'd be riding with the best of us.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. Or the okayest of us.
The okayest of us. So then we get, so that's the first play area, and that's like, you know, 1/32 of what there is to ride there. It gets chewed up pretty quick. And so there's another like bunch of cricks and trees and whatnot you got to go down through to get to the next spot.
Yeah.
So we get up there, the entrance of to go into the next spot. There's like 20 guys there. Not that we don't even like. I know a couple of them, but they're not in our group.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, we went down there and the trees across the thing, it's like neck high, and yeah, it's not worth it. We're not going to go.
Yeah, it wasn't neck high.
Well, whatever. I don't know what they said. Maybe waist high.
They said it was neck high, and it was not neck high.
Yeah.
But,
So you and Brand went down there, and you built a kind of a bridge to go over it.
A little bit. I mean, we packed it in. We packed in around the tree, and, we didn't just do it for that day. Like, we knew this. We'll talk about the weather coming soon in a minute, but we knew this was coming.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, if we fill this in and get a good base on it now, this would be a highway, no problem.
Yeah.
And that's why we were like, bring some shovels, let's go. And so we packed it in, and then we started going down it with the sleds. And that was a little brutal. I've never done anything like that myself. And, the creek was open at about halfway down, and
see, it's been like that for me every year. And like I was telling these guys, like the first couple times you go down, like even the first 4 times really that you go down through there, it's like that.
Yeah.
And this is early season conditions, even though it's like the 9th of January or whatever it is.
Yeah, it should be mid-season.
This is like 1st of November because it's such a low snow year.
Yeah.
But
it was a lot of fun. I mean, once I figured out, okay, just keep taking the fall line and try to keep everything as centered as possible.
Yeah.
That became a lot of fun. And then found some spark plugs trying to get unstuck, and that caused an even worse stuck, and I was pissed. That's on video, coming soon.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Don't let Polaris see that one.
Oh, we're letting Polaris see that one. Yeah.
Oh man.
Someday when they get sponsored by me, I'm gonna force them to sponsor me one of these days, and I can tell you exactly how it's gonna go. I'm gonna end up in that engineering room with whoever's the engineer is. I'm gonna be in his face the entire time. Better up. I swear to God, or your life is on the line, buddy. Well, and that's another safety aspect too.
Yeah.
I mean, it just fouled out of nowhere. It was already running. I'd already done a couple wide open pulls with it. Mm-hmm. It was cleared out.
Yeah.
No reason for it to foul. And I mean, dude, if you were trying to get out of somewhere, or you're halfway up a real steep hill and that sucker fouls, and you have no power and now you're stuck on an Avi zone or something, I mean, you could die.
Yeah.
That is a major safety issue, and Polaris absolutely needs to address that, in my opinion. But they won't.
I mean, they won't. It's been a thing for quite a while. I mean,
but the 800s never did it.
I wouldn't say never. They go through. So
not to this like insane amount of spark.
You want to know what it is I almost think it's like it seems like it happens more on sleds with less than 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
Because the 800s absolutely did do it.
Really?
When they were new.
I wasn't around when they were new.
So they absolutely did do it. Probably not quite as bad, but so I don't know. I mean, I'm no expert,
to be fair, the 800 was a lot less powerful and was not nearly as capable of getting into situations that these Matrix chassis sleds are.
Yeah.
So that's another side of it too, right? Like these sleds take you to spots that are just frankly dangerous.
Yeah.
And when you have something like that happen, it could be a very, very bad situation, much worse than you would think.
So then we had a couple of our guys, my son and another guy, Mike, I think, decided to turn around and head back up. And so I decided to go up and hang out with them, and 3 of those guys decided to go. So half our crew went back up, and the other half said, "Oh, we're going to break through." And I was a little bit jealous. And when I heard on the radio that you got lost and you weren't going to make it and you were trying to come back, I actually giggled a little bit.
I don't blame you for giggling. Well, and so the funny thing was I had my phone on me, and I had Onyx with me, and I had my old track with me.
Yeah.
And did you think I looked at it one fucking time? God, no. I was like, no, I'm going to find this sucker on my own. Yeah, so anyway, I felt so stupid because I get home and I'm like looking at my track and I'm like, oh, we were like 100 feet off, man. I mean, we were right there. Like, if it just got a little 100 feet farther east, man, we would have found it.
That's
and
funny.
it would have just been, and it's a straight fall line once you find it.
Yeah.
It's a straight fall line.
Yeah.
I'm like, you mother. Like, I was so pissed. But, I mean, you know, to be fair, it was, I mean, dude, when we were trying to go through the trees there, like, I'm telling you, it was like basically dirt. It was the weirdest thing because the other set of trees was
lower. It's lower elevation. And the other thing is like we didn't get back to the truck until 3.
No, I know.
I mean, it wasn't like it was a short day.
Oh, and getting out of there was...
Well, getting out of there, going back up that gauntlet, I was the first one to go back up.
Yeah.
And I honestly thought that you guys were going to spend quite a bit of time getting out of there because there was one spot that I had to try twice, and I got it on the second try. There was another spot, not where you built the bridge, but down below that, there's this like diagonal tree, and it's right on a corner.
That's the one.
And there's that stick that comes out here, so you want to come wide and go across and go up over this, and you got to build some momentum, get some speed, and then you got to immediately turn left after that. And first time I get up and the tips of my ski land on that log that's bare going across. And then the second time going up, I got like maybe 8 inches. The third time, I'm like, okay, I am going to punch this thing, and I am coming over this log come hell or high water. And I got further, and I got to where the spindle was on top of the log, and I was just not quite, I needed like another 8 inches.
Yeah.
And so I called for my boy to come down, and he gave me a ski pole, and we got out of there. And then you made it through.
I made it through about 15 feet in the air. It was a little scary, and I don't know if I got that on video or not, but we'll see.
Oh, geez.
I still got to go through that footage. I'm going to go through it this weekend.
Nice.
But man, coming up, that was... I think that's probably the hardest the most focus I've ever put into, like, okay, I don't want to get stuck.
Right.
Like, I got to make it out of here in one shot.
Yeah.
And I think I needed a ski pole once.
Uh-huh.
And once I got out of the ski pole, I was good.
Well, that's all I needed was one ski pole.
I didn't need a ski pole. I had to reverse because I caught, like, see, the one trouble with the Matrix chassis, and I don't know if the pros are like this or not, but if you catch, like, if you're in coming down that creek, you know how you get walls of snow on the side?
Yeah.
If you catch an edge, it sucks you into it, and if you try to correct it, you're going straight into the wall on the other side.
Oh,
and that's exactly what it did. Knocked me off the sled, and I had to back out of that, get straightened out, and then I took off after that. And then, let's see, so I come up to that same log you're talking about. I launched my sled off of that log. I mean, dude, I don't know how it didn't bend a rail or anything, because I think I hit it with the track, like,
yeah.
I mean, it just smoked it, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm flying through the air. This ain't good. Like, Ricky Bobby moment. I'm like, oh no.
What do I do with my hands?
Yeah, and I'm like, well, we're here. We're floating.
Geez.
And I landed just like flat. I'm like, oh, thank God. So I sat there for a moment, gathered myself, because it was like a flat spot where I landed. And I'm like, okay, the rest of this looks like a highway. We got it. And it was, dude. I literally just tractored out of there the rest of the way. Didn't even use more than a quarter throttle. So...
Did you?
But it was a bit. It's a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
Because Levi got stuck coming up that.
Weird.
To no fault of his own. I mean, it just that trail was a bit of a disaster, and I kind of effed it up a little where I hit the wall, and that's where he got stuck. And then that other diagonal log where you got to come up on the right.
Mm-hmm.
I think that. I can't remember if that messed up Levi or messed up Brandon. Messed up one of them. And I know it messed up Brandon because I'm the one who went back and got him out of that. And, I mean, it was just like, it just needed a careful ski pole to get up and stay up on edge. And he was out. So, yeah, but after that, he just tractored right on out of there, right over that other log and everything. The one that I launched off of. 165 things, I guess.
So then...
it was Fun.
It was fun.
It was fun.
So Arctic Cat came out with, what did they come out with? Have you seen the press on that?
So they came out with the 858. I did read all the spec sheets that got leaked.
Did you see the weight on it?
I did not see the weight on it because they did not post it. Interesting. However, I can assume because the Catalyst chassis is very light that even with the 858, it is still a very light sled. Because it's pretty close to Polaris weight, if I remember correctly, and I don't know, man. They're still stuck on the Fox float shocks for the Snow Pro, so they haven't come into the 21st century on that one, and then the rest of it, I don't know. I mean, it looks promising, other than they still have a monorail, and everybody. I mean, every comment. And you would think that they would figure this out. Every comment underneath every post that I saw today about it was, why is there not a twin rail option?
Well,
because like you have a decent chassis that could, and everybody's like, well, we'll just put Ice Age rails on it because Ice Age has a twin rail setup for the Alphas. Come to find out, that's why Levi's sled has twin rails. He 23 has Ice Age rails.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I found that out on the way down. Yeah, but it's like you get that chassis. It seems to be a great chassis from what everybody's saying. Got an underpowered 600 in it right now. Now they have an 858 coming out, and it's 165 horsepower, just like everybody else's 850 class. NA setup, and you still don't have what the riders want.
Well, I have a couple different.
The riders don't want Fox floats.
Well, yeah,
and they don't want a monorail.
I have a couple different thoughts on that. One is that, like I've ridden an Alpha Rail. I mean, I actually have about 4 hours on one. Mm-hmm. So, and I just absolutely hate it. Like I cannot. So I'm going to call out Ryan Harris from Snowest magazine says that he thought that the Alpha Rail feels like a flat rear tire on a dirt bike, and that I would totally agree. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. That can make sense.
He also said that on the Catalyst that he got to test, the 600, that it does not feel like that.
And that could be due to the fact that there's a lot less weight in the front of that sled.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't look at a single rail and I just can't picture in my head how that's going to work. I think on like super deep snow, anything works, but if it's not nice snow, like it's just like the Flex Edge on the Skidoo, which I hate. It doesn't cut into the edge. It just folds over, kind of comes over for a second, and then wants to go back.
Yeah.
And that's just the Flex Edge thing, and I absolutely hate it. And I wish I would tear a lug on mine.
But the difference between Skidoo and Arctic Cat is Skidoo listened, and on the highest expert model for last year that you could spring order.
10 years later, they listened.
I mean, yeah, it took them 10 years, and I guess Arctic Cat doesn't quite have 10 years on that.
Yeah,
but,
they're
getting there.
It's just, I don't know. It's just...
So, and the other thing about the Alpha Rail that I noticed a couple guys having issues with this year is in low snow conditions like this, it's really easy to snap that rail.
Oh, I know. Everybody that had one broke it.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that had one that didn't break it.
Yeah, that deaf guy, the deaf guy that rides, I can't remember his name for the life of me. Maybe we'll tag him in the...
Not sure who that is.
He's in northern Idaho now.
Oh, okay.
But he... I don't know. I found him on Facebook. Pretty cool deal. Deaf rider wanting to become a pro. And he's a good rider too. From the looks of it. But yeah, he took his brand new Catalyst out and not even 4 miles on it and snapped the rail. Like, feel bad for him because it's like, well, yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Like, can't even ride it now.
I mean, the only time Arctic Cat has ever had anything significant or been of huge presence was the 05 M7 when they came out with that.
Yeah.
And Brandt was on one, and Dan Adams was on one. Everybody was on a Cat. They're all on Polaris now. They were all on Cats. I mean, I think even Rasmussen was on one. I mean, it was like, so they came out with the Rev in 03.5, like 04, and then 05 they came out with the Arctic Cat came with the M7, and the Rev. I'm a Skidoo guy, so I always kind of like the Rev a little better, but the M7 was, man, that was
Well, those M chassis sleds that in that year range that like what was it like 05 to like 2010 or whatever that they had those, like they're a good riding sled.
Yeah,
I don't care what anybody says.
I agree.
I've spent some time on them, and man, that is a great machine.
For an older sled, they're tough to beat.
They ride like a newer sled though. Like,
well, I mean,
not quite like a newer sled, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Like a Summit SP, not quite as good as that, but you know.
No, they're definitely. I mean, for their time,
they're tanks, but
for their time, they're a great riding sled. So
yeah.
But other than that, I mean, Arctic Cat's not really. That's probably where they picked up most of their fan base. Believe it or not, you know, like there's some hardcore Arctic Cat fans, and that's where a lot of them came from. That, and they had the really cool checkered flag jackets. They had the green jackets. Yeah. With the, like, I got my old Skidoo one from 1996, and it's not, you can tell it's worn and tattered and not, you know, like super nice or anything, but I still have it. And every time I put it on, I get like memory flashbacks. I regain my memory, is why I wear it once in a while. So, but
that's really cool. Yeah, I think that's cool. I don't have enough life experience to really experience shit like that yet, but I'm sure the day will come.
So, we got this storm coming in.
Yep, we do got a storm coming in. It's hitting right now, actually. You can hear the rain.
Oh, it's pounding on the roof. You guys probably can't hear it, but yeah, it's been pouring all day. It's at 2,000 feet. I mean,
and it's coming down tonight.
It's like, I mean, they're saying like 2 to 6 inches an hour.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's ridiculous. I mean, it's just dumping snow up there, and
we got 20 inches last night. Probably going to get another 20 to 40 inches tonight.
Yep, that's what they're calling for, plus 60 mile an hour winds. So it's going to get real interesting.
So it's, I mean, tomorrow it's supposed to be cloudy, and then Thursday we're supposed to get another decent dump. Thursday night, decent dump. And then Friday is supposed to be bluebird. Now, and Saturday was supposed to be bluebird. Now they're saying snow on Saturday.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be, and it keeps floating, right? The temperature thing.
Yeah.
So this is the weird part. In this area, we don't get negative temperatures very often. I mean, it is super, super, super rare. Like, I've never in my lifetime, and I'm almost 27 years old, experienced negative temperatures in this area.
Yeah.
Probably on the mountain before, but I haven't experienced them down here.
Yeah.
And
I have, but it's just a couple times.
It's floating between -5 and like 3 degrees at my house. And I'm like, what's going to be 0 degrees, right? Like, I mean, we just need to accept that fact right now. Like, it's going to be pretty cold in my house. And we're supposed to get dumped on. Like, I mean, dude, I won't be able to ride the sleds from our houses to the mountain.
Yeah. So
like that would be pretty cool.
I think that, you know, we worry about here because we live next to Seattle that there's just so many people, and you know, as soon as there's good snow, everybody hears about it, and everybody. I mean, Friday at Baker NRA.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there will be 10,000 people there.
Oh yeah.
And so, you know, part of me is like, it's gonna not be that great for Saturday, but I think it'll actually, there's so much area. I think it'll be fine Saturday. I think it'll just be not as good.
Everybody goes to Baker and they tear up Salad Bowl and the lower part of the glaciers there. But not many people are willing to go over. It's getting to be more.
There's a lot to go, but there's a lot to go over.
Railroad side, like people go over there and tear it up. And the rest of it is frankly not that beat.
Yeah.
Like, it's starting to become
there's always places you can go find, but you have to work harder to find it. And I would just rather be the first one, like Christopher Columbus. I mean, I would just rather be,
That's why we were up at, 4 in the morning last Saturday.
And we still weren't the first ones to the play area.
We weren't the first ones to the play area, but we were the first ones to break trail for the most part.
Right.
Like, we were just waiting up on, a couple guys that, just...
Yeah.
Trying to keep the trail moving and all that fun stuff, but So.
Yeah. Well, I think what else we got? Anything, or is that?
So, we're doing a night ride possibly tomorrow night. Well, it won't really be that much of a. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. I don't have high hopes, and I don't want to go crazy because I've never rode at night before. So that's going to be a first for me.
So let me interrupt you there for a second. So back in the old days, I used to night ride all the time.
Yeah.
The year that Mount Baker broke the record in 1999, I'd go riding all the time because I was working like 60 hours a week, and we would just go like, okay, off at 7 o'clock at night. Yeah, let's go. And maybe we didn't have to go to work the next day until 10 or 11 or whatever. I was selling cars. So,
yeah, exactly.
And so we would just go all night until 1 a.m. and then come home. And we rode all the time at night and you couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
Now I have been up there. If you go up there enough at night and there's like a full moon and it's clear, it's better than daytime.
Yeah, and see, tomorrow night's not supposed to be a full moon.
Right.
It's supposed to be cloudy.
Oh, it'll be hard to see.
Hopefully it's not snowing. It's probably still going to be snowing, but you know, we're going to try out the Oxbo lights. So that's going to be a lot of fun. You know, I just want to say to you, like, quick shout out to Oxbo. I watched that podcast with Diviant Inc. And you know, that's just an awesome story. Highly recommend going and watching it. I mean, anybody. See, that's what I love about like being someone who runs a business and like watching shit like that is I love the success stories, right?
I do too.
Like, you know, you fight that battle and you come out on top, and you know it's just a lot of hard work and man, you got to earn it.
Well, and he was telling the story about the problem they had with their radio, and I wasn't even aware of it.
Yeah,
and
dude, that's how quickly they dealt with it, though.
Yeah,
and he's like, I couldn't sleep at night, and I'm like, yeah. Imagine, man, like you just release this brand new thing, this cool new thing, and it's
like they got like
awesome,
the weekend comes and they get like 50 of them back, and then the next weekend they get like 150 of them back, and it's like, man, can you imagine if like you sold a bunch of tools and like it was the same tool and like everybody brought it back?
Well, I was not to that scale, but I've been there. I mean, I sold 10 sets of these spark plug sockets that just had this collar that they wouldn't fit down inside the tubes on overhead cam engines, and that's what they were designed to do, right? Is go in these tubes and overhead cam engines. Well, whatever dumbass engineers luckily that's not my design, but if it was, I mean, oh man, I would have cried like.
Nice thing about selling gas, we just blame somebody else, so we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, even selling tools, I'm just like. Assholes, like, you know what I mean? Like, and then just save face, give them a new one, and off I go. But you know, still, I mean, that's really cool, and big props to them for pushing through, you know, and becoming awesome because, man, I mean, from what I'm seeing, everybody that has one of those Oxbo radios, they love it, and same with the lights, so. And
we really want to get the new one that they're coming out with the Bluetooth on the handlebar and the mics and everything in the helmet.
That's pretty sick.
So yeah, Oxbo, if you're watching this, you know, you want to hook us up, we'll definitely test them out for you.
Hey man, I will post all over social media for you. I got you. And I did see that they have requirements for that.
Oh yeah, 1,000 followers on all the different ones.
Yeah, so tell your friends, we need some followers.
Yeah, we need some more followers.
We're getting there. We're getting there. It's growing every day.
Yeah. So.
But
also Diviant Inc. For having the podcast.
Yeah, they're getting better at it too. You know, that's really cool to watch.
I love these different podcasts. I mean, it's interesting. Like I prefer Arctic FX over Diviant Inc. Because I have more experience with it, and I just had a little bit better experience with them. But you know, I do appreciate that they're willing to do a podcast and stay up with the times. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, it's pretty cool having it. It's funny that all these companies are doing it, right? Like, you know, look at First Form. We got Andy with Real AF. You got, you know, obviously the Diviant Inc. one, and there was one other one that was on the tip of my tongue, and then I totally forgot it.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
Snowest.
Yeah. You know,
there's a lot of different. Well, 509.
Yep, 509.
Feeling Your Passion. I love that podcast.
Yeah. You know, surprisingly, I still haven't watched any of
those. Oh my God, you got.
I don't know why I haven't.
Oh yeah.
We'll do that off camera. I gotta go subscribe to those guys.
Yeah. No, that's actually my favorite one. Is 509 Feeling Your Passion. Yeah. David McKinney does a really good job on that.
Need to get a new 509 helmet.
Yeah.
Since my head's shrinking, getting dumber.
All right, well, I guess that's it. We will see you on the mountain.
Yep.
Oh, yep, hit record.